Welcome to Cardano for Everyone, a podcast series from Pasta Steak Pool. Each episode explores something new about Cardano in a way that's simple and accessible for everyone. In the mood for some Cardano magic? Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today we're unlocking the story behind Gerolamo Cardano. The guy the Cardano blockchain is named after. Well, get ready to dive deep into the world of a true Renaissance man.
Okay.
This guy was a mathematician, doctor, inventor,
Impressive?
and even an astrologer.
Wow. A true Renaissance man, like you said. What a multi-hyphenate.
That's right. Today we're going to uncover his incredible journey, explore his contributions to algebra, probability, and even some really cool gadgets. And then, get this, we'll link it all back to why a cutting-edge blockchain platform is named after him.
Oh, wow. Okay, I see where we're going. This is going to be fascinating.
So let's start by painting a picture of his life. Cardano was born way back in 1501. And get this, he was born illegitimate and even survived the plague as a baby.
Man, talk about overcoming adversity.
His dad, Fazio Cardano, was a bit of a brainiac himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a mathematician who actually hung out with Leonardo da Vinci.
What? No way. Seriously?
Yeah, can you imagine the dinner conversations at that house?
Oh my gosh.
So Cardano's dad actually helped da Vinci with some tricky geometry problems.
Interesting.
It's like having da Vinci as your mentor. But here's the thing, Cardano didn't just follow in his father's footsteps. He actually went against his dad's wishes and pursued both medicine and mathematics.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't afraid to go against the grain and really chase his passions. So let's talk about his mathematical achievements, because this is where things get super interesting. Have you ever heard of Ars Magna? It's Cardano's masterpiece, the book that really put him on the map in the world of mathematics. So Ars Magna revolutionized algebra.
How so?
It provided solutions to cubic and quartic equations.
Cubic and quartic equations.
Yeah, so imagine you're trying to solve a puzzle
Okay.
where you have to figure out an unknown number. But this number is raised to the power of 3 or even 4.
Oh, wow. Okay, that sounds pretty complicated.
It was. For centuries, mathematicians had been trying to crack the code to solve these types of equations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but Cardano, he came along and figured it out.
Wow.
It was a huge breakthrough.
So it's like he found this missing piece to this really complicated puzzle that everyone was struggling with for ages.
And here's where it gets even more mind-blowing. While working on these equations, Cardano stumbled upon something called imaginary numbers.
Imaginary numbers, what are those? Are they like the opposite of real numbers?
Sort of. They involved the square root of -1, which back then was considered a really strange
I can imagine.
and even impossible concept. Even Cardano himself found it a bit perplexing, but it was a discovery that would later become a cornerstone of modern mathematics.
It's amazing to think about that.
He was grappling with these concepts, and now they're using everything from engineering to computer science.
It really shows you how far ahead of his time he was.
Totally. And this wasn't his only major contribution.
Really?
He also wrote Liber de Ludo Alle, which is considered one of the first works on probability theory.
Wow. So not only was he like solving crazy equations and stuff, he was also writing about probability.
He had an insatiable thirst for knowledge. What's fascinating about Liber de Ludo Alle is that it shows Cardano analyzing games of chance in a really systematic way.
He was trying to understand the math behind it all.
He was basically the OG data scientist of the Renaissance, looking for pattern, trying to make sense of randomness.
So this desire to analyze and understand complex systems really connects him to the blockchain platform named after him.
Okay, that's what I've been waiting for. Let's talk about that connection. Why is a cutting-edge blockchain platform named after a 16th century Italian polymath? So, just like Cardano, the blockchain platform aims to be revolutionary and transformative.
Okay, so it's more than just a cool name, right?
There are some deeper fundamental principles that they share. Remember how we talked about Cardano's meticulous, research-driven approach to knowledge?
Yeah.
Well, that's basically the DNA of the Cardano blockchain.
So it's like they took this Renaissance era way of thinking and applied it to the world of blockchain.
Precisely. It all starts with Input-Output Global, or IOG, the company behind Cardano. They've made a conscious decision to collaborate with universities and emphasize peer-reviewed research. Not just a bunch of techies coding away in a basement. They're bringing in academics and scientists to ensure that what they're building is solid.
They're treating the development of this blockchain with the same rigor that Cardano applied to his mathematical work.
And one of the things that really impressed me about Cardano was his ability to see connections between different fields of knowledge. Is that something that's reflected in the Cardano blockchain as well?
Well, the Cardano blockchain, it's all about bringing together these different disciplines approaches. They're not just focused on like one aspect of blockchain technology. They're looking at it holistically, just like Cardano did with his studies.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
His work from the 1500s still has echoes in today's tech world. It's kind of wild.
Totally. But his entry into the world, not exactly smooth, illegitimate. And his mother lost 3 kids to the plague.
Oh, wow, that's awful.
And even then, his early years, bit of a rebel. Imagine your dad wants you to be a lawyer. But Cardano, he's like, nope, medicine and math for me.
Bold move.
That's Cardano in a nutshell. Independent.
And that spirit, it kind of defined his career as a doctor, too.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, super brilliant, no doubt. But even he admitted he was, how did he put it, prone to saying things that displeased others? But talent shines through. His book, Ars Magna, published in 1545, game changer for algebra. It had the solutions for cubic and quartic equations, problems that had stumped mathematicians for centuries. But it wasn't without drama. He ended up in this feud. Niccolò Tartaglia.
Ooh, a math battle.
Over who really cracked those solutions. Academics, right?
Always got to have the last word.
But he kind of stumbled upon them while working on those cubic equations.
So, like a happy accident.
Kind of. And the crazy part, he didn't fully get how important they were back then. They're fundamental to so many fields now. Engineering, quantum physics, even help us understand the universe at the, quantum level.
Quantum level, that's some next level stuff.
And it all goes back to Cardano. Crazy to think about.
But Cardano wasn't just a numbers guy. He was an inventor, too.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the combination lock everywhere. Cardano's invention. The gimbal suspension.
The what?
Gimbal suspension. It's key for stabilizing compasses and stuff like that.
Oh, right, like for ships and planes and things?
Yep, that was him too.
Yeah.
And the Cardano joint.
Okay, now you're just making up words.
It's a real thing. Universal joint allows movement at all sorts of angles. Cars, spacecraft, you name it.
So he was kind of like a Renaissance MacGyver, just a brilliant practical mind.
For sure. I mean, the math alone solidified his place in history. But he was way more than just a mathematician.
A true Renaissance man. Reminds me of how Cardano documented everything. His proofs, inventions, he wanted people to understand. Not just the what, but the why.
And you see that reflected in Cardano's documentation, too. It's deep. The reasoning, the challenges, the solutions, transparency, giving people the tools to understand. Trust is everything.
So we've got this revolutionary tech, built on science, inspired by a guy who's centuries ahead of his time. It's a pretty amazing story.
It is, but no technology exists in a vacuum, right?
We need to look at the criticisms, too. So let's put on our skeptical hats for a minute. Explore some counter-arguments.
Okay, I'm ready to hear the other side of the story. Hit me with the tough questions.
All right, so
Bring it on. Lay it on me. What are people saying? What are the criticisms of Cardano?
one of the big ones you hear a lot is that it's slow. The development, I mean. It all comes back to that research-driven approach. Peer review, formal verification, testing.
They want to make sure they're doing it right. Solid foundation. But that takes time.
Like you wouldn't rush building a skyscraper. You need a good foundation or the whole thing crumbles.
But it does mean a slower pace.
So while others are like racing ahead, adding features, trying to get developers on board, slow and steady wins the race.
That's what the Cardano team is betting on. They say this patient approach, it'll pay off. Building something strong, secure, sustainable.
Okay, I can see that. But slow development, that's got to be frustrating for some people.
It is. And it's not blind faith either. Cardano has hit some big milestones already. And it all comes back to Cardano himself, doesn't it? That curiosity, that meticulous research, that drive to push boundaries. Those are the same values driving the blockchain.
So what are some concrete examples of how Cardano's legacy is manifested in the Cardano blockchain?
One of the key aspects is the underlying consensus algorithm called Ouroboros. This is the mechanism that allows the blockchain to validate transactions and ensure security. Ouroboros is based on mathematically proven security principles. It's not just some random code that someone whipped up. It's built on a foundation of rigorous research, much like Cardano's own work.
So they're applying that same spirit of intellectual rigor to make sure that the Cardano blockchain is secure and reliable.
And another important connection is the focus on sustainability. Cardano is actually designed to be energy efficient, which is a major concern in the world of blockchain. Remember how Cardano was concerned with the practical applications of his work? Well, the Cardano blockchain is taking that same approach, making sure that it's not just innovative, but also responsible and sustainable in the long run.
It's really amazing to see how they've managed to weave these different aspects of Cardano's thinking into the blockchain. It's like a tribute to his legacy.
It truly is, and I think it's a testament to the enduring power of ideas. Even though Cardano lived centuries ago, his curiosity, his rigor, his belief in the power of knowledge, those are all values that are still incredibly relevant today, especially in the world of blockchain.
Well said. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is that innovation often comes from unexpected places. Cardano was a true polymath who wasn't afraid to explore different fields of knowledge. And I think that's a really valuable lesson for all of us.
And there's another side to Cardano that we haven't really explored yet, one that might seem a bit unexpected.
Okay, you've got my attention.
For a guy known for, his math skills and all that, Cardano was deeply interested in astrology,
Really?
philosophy, and even,
Hold on. The same guy who's cracking complex equations and laying the groundwork for, like, probability? That's kind of a wild combination, don't you think?
it might seem strange to us now. Remember, this was the Renaissance, right? The lines between what we consider science, philosophy, spirituality, they were much blurrier back then.
That's a good point.
Think of it like this. He was trying to understand the universe from every angle he could think of.
He was trying to break down the mysteries of existence.
In relation to the Cardano blockchain, one of the core principles of blockchain technology is decentralization. This idea of distributing power and control, moving away from those big centralized authorities.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. Cardano, the blockchain, is all about empowering individuals, giving them more control over their data, their finance. And Cardano, the man, was all about challenging conventional thinking, pushing the boundaries of knowledge.
Cardano wasn't afraid to go against the grain. He challenged his father's wishes, questioned established mathematical ideas, even got into some hot water with the Inquisition for his, unorthodox views.
Really?
Yeah. This independent spirit really echoes the ethos of the Cardano blockchain.
So even his interest in astrology, looking at the world from a different perspective, questioning the status quo.
In a time when the church held immense power and control over the beliefs of his era, can also be seen as a way of seeking knowledge outside the traditional channels.
And the Cardano blockchain, with its emphasis on transparency and open source development, is kind of doing the same thing in the digital world. It's about making information accessible to everyone, breaking down those barriers that traditionally control how we access knowledge.
Sometimes the most groundbreaking thinkers aren't afraid to step outside the box.
Exactly.
Even though Cardano lived centuries ago, his curiosity, his rigor, his belief in the power of knowledge, these are values that are still so relevant today, especially in the world of blockchain.
Well said. It's really remarkable. This guy from centuries ago, still inspiring innovation today.
And who knows, maybe Cardano himself would be a blockchain enthusiast if he were around today.
I like to think so. This has been a really incredible deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from Cardano's childhood in Renaissance Italy. Cardano was a true polymath who wasn't afraid to explore all these different fields of knowledge. I think that's a really valuable lesson for all of us.
Absolutely.
We'll wrap up our deep dive into the world of Gerolamo Cardano.
It's been fun.
It has been. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for being part of Cardano for Everyone. We hope you gained something valuable from today's episode. If you'd like to support our mission of making Cardano knowledge accessible for all, consider selecting Pasta from the pool list when you delegate. Every bit of support helps us bring more content to listeners like you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll see you on the next episode.